Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Turf War, the coolest fantasy football league on the planet. This is season 2, episode 22, overall our 98th episode. And as always, tons to talk about. No updates from the Antarctica commissioner. So let's get to it and bring in the rest of the gang. That would be Susan, the Gridiron Goddess, and Adam from Fantasy Couriers. Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Hello. I am doing okay. Week 8 got me this week. I
So,
am, man, BYEpocalypse Fallout, I lost.
that is
I
what we're
had one
talking
league
about.
I had one league that I got like 50 points or something, and I've started a full roster. So,
So let's get
woo,
straight to
we can
introductions.
recover this
Susan,
week.
introduce yourself.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Susan, Gridiron Goddess. I'm like so focused on I'm like ready.
I know,
Let's
right?
talk fantasy.
Excited about it.
All right, Adam.
Oh, Adam Dove, DJ Dove from the Fantasy Couriers. I was going to say I had one to join with you in that one. We might need to add a segment here where we talk about that team that just dumped on us this week, because my week wasn't as bad. I didn't plan like Susan, so apparently we've learned that don't worry about planning for it. It's just a disaster. This was like when you have 15 teams, if we're getting dumped on by guys being out, they're getting dumped on. But the problem is, then you wake up Saturday night, oh, Lamar's not playing. Sunday morning, oh, nobody on the Atlanta Falcons is playing. Oh, great. Thanks a lot, dude. So that leads to why my team really stunk it up, and the Dolphins played football.
That's called reactionary football. And of course, I am Cameron. I'm representing Shelter Dogs for Veterans, and it was great to get away for some vacation time last week. But it's always good when you come back home too. Thank you too for both holding down the fort and doing the prep for last week's show, just in time for me to crash the party. But speaking of parties that got crashed in week 8, how did you guys do?
Well, nothing. It's about par. I do 15. I think I didn't count here, but I think half or so probably won. I had a heartbreaker at the end with some of those last couple of catches for the Chiefs, but I just want to hit that terrible team we're talking about. I had this team I have is like the highest scoring team in the league by like a couple hundred points. I had two guys, Dynasty League, Patrick Mahomes, DK from the Titans are the only guys to score over 20. Pat Bryant scored 12, and everybody else less than 10 points, including Bijan, Spencer Rattler I had to start, Mark Andrews, Ramondre, Theo Johnson, Keon Coleman, and Bill Crosby. I got obliterated. Like my team, which lost to the 9th place team, just by I got home from weekend. I was gone like Friday morning until getting home at Sunday, and I had limited cell. And I was like, oh my gosh! I just was sitting there in a Target parking lot, 10 minutes till 1, updating my fantasy pros, dumping guys out. Like, oh my gosh! My wife's like, hey, can you pick up the kids? It was scary, and it was like 58. Boom. Okay, everybody's square. And then that happened.
Oh, tell me your week was better than that, Susan.
No, I'm in 11 leagues. I lost I won in, I think, 4 of them or 3 of them. One of them, though, was Turf War, which was great. That came down to a Monday night miracle. Travis Kelce saved me last night. I have one league, though. It's a dynasty league. I am second to last in points, but I'm now 4-4. The rosters are huge. I'm in 6th place. The rosters are so long, but I think I have like 5 or 6 open bench spots because I just have been trying to trade players because I was like, I'm going to tank this season. Last year I came in, got the 102, but I was last in the league. And so I'm like, I don't know what to do now. I have no depth, but things happen. Like I had to play Kareem Hunt. Well, he got 2 touchdowns last night. So now I'm 4-4 and I'm in 6th place. I don't really have enough picks to like go get enough depth. It's just like, I don't know what to do, but I won in that league, and then one in a dynasty league, one in a redraft, and then in Turf War, which now has me in 3rd place. The top 3 are all in. The top 3 are now all 5-2. And it's just based on points differential. I'm playing Adam this week. We'll see if he helps me make my way into the top 2.
You're not going to let her beat you, are you?
Oh yeah, Totally, 100%. my team is 2-6. I mean, that's what I'm getting burned by Bucky Irving, one of my favorite players in the league. But this seemed like this team just can't win. I mean, other than the fact that I have more points than 5th place, 6th place, 7th place, 8th place, 10th place, and only like 20 some odd less points than Susan here. I'm in 9th place. So it's one of those, and that's the way. I think we need median scoring. That's all I'm hearing here is median scoring for Fantasy Turf Wars next year. Oh, man.
Sounds like I'm hearing a donation of a win this weekend, Susan, if things go the right way. Oh, my gosh. You got to post that in the chat room. That's horrible.
Nice meme there.
Oh,
nice little
mercy.
There too, Sharon.
Sharon, thanks for contributing again. But to lose by that, that's painful. That is painful. And then the last thing you want to see is a stat correction in the middle of the week, right, guys?
I want to see a stat correction for Sharon. We're praying for stat correction.
Well, yeah, of course we are. Yeah, but I've never seen it affect the outcome of a game in our leagues. So, yeah, my week 8 wasn't so bad. I won 3 of the 4. I'm only in 4 leagues. But my daughter Kara, she has my number every year. Guaranteed. It's gonna happen. And she just absolutely obliterated me. And it's like partway through Sunday, it's like, yep, don't care about that game. I've lost that one. So I'm gonna make sure I win the others. And of course, my dynasty league, I had to play against my wife. And so that's always going to be a little tense around the household because, it's like the Bears-Packers rivalry. It doesn't matter what happens the rest of the season. It just comes down to that one game, that series, And when my receiver put up a goose egg on Thursday night, it's like, I will never hear the end of this one.
We're not talking about him. That dude just crushed us. And hot off the press for me. My rankings have been up and down, but after that disaster, I still was 76th in the Fantasy Pros rankings out of 174. So I'll take that. That's a win this week.
Nice.
Great. Yeah. 76, 27 on wide receivers. So I'm still doing fairly well in the season for my wide receivers. But I'm keeping my goal. My goal is to beat 100 this year, which would be a thing. It's a lot too.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll take the wins wherever we get them, no matter where they come from, how they get there, because I think that is the name of the game. If you can stack up enough wins early in the season, then you don't have as much to worry about. You have maybe some bit of cushion, but I think it still matters. You got to put up the points. So last weekend, not only did we have 6 teams off of football from bye weeks, but a lot of notable names that put up very forgettable performances, such as McCaffrey, Bijan, and there's a lot more you could add to that list. And some of them just put up like absolute goose eggs. Then, of course, now you factor in the new injuries, and almost too many to even list at this point in time. We got 4 more weeks, 4 more teams on bye weeks this week. We got the NFL trade deadline coming around the corner. So we're going to talk about the impacts of a lot of those things and much, much more tonight. But before we dive into the 79-degree pool like mine is right now, let's toss out a fun topic. And maybe it's not going to be as much fun as last week, but I thought we had some really fun topics and discussions last week. But so if you were to toss out, let's call it 2 MVP candidates at the halfway mark, because that's where we're at right now with the Fantasy Football League. Who would your MVPs be right now, Susan?
All right. Are we doing fantasy or NFL? Because I have one for both.
I would say call it NFL right now, but you want to toss in fantasy, that's fine too. Yes. Yeah.
Well, because I think this could go both ways. So the Colts are 7-1. Who saw that coming? All I want to say is girl power. The new sister owners clearly are like making something happen over there. So I'm going to go with Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, those 2 guys, if they can continue this. I mean, when you look at Daniel Jones's stats, he's 4th in the league in passing yards. He has 13 touchdowns, which is not great. That's 11th. It's tied. Only 3 interceptions. And then his QBR right now is 79.3, which is 2nd in the league. So he is playing out of his mind right now. I guess he just got into a good system. I don't know. Things seem to do better when they leave the Giants. So
I think you're right about the system. If you think about it, Danny Dimes doesn't have to do as much if you got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, and he's putting up a phenomenal year.
So that is one thing is Daniel Jones used to be, he had 700 rushing yards one season. He's not even at 100 so far in these games that they've played. So you're losing that aspect, but he's still the 6th quarterback for fantasy football right now. He's 6th ranked.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Taylor is just, that duo is, I don't know how you could pick anybody else for your best, especially for your fantasy MVP. I wish skill position players would be in the running more for the NFL MVP. Generally goes to a quarterback, but so yeah, I'm going to take Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor for my two mid-season MVPs.
Love those picks, Adam.
Those were mine, so we'll move on. I saw Susan. We were sitting there. We keep we have the docket. We all type things in, and we were doing it at the same time. I'm like, whoa, those are mine. Darn it. We're on the same track with a lot of things really today. But I thought I'd throw out other guys. Like originally, when I was about 2 weeks ago, I did a conversation with JJ Wang on the Couriers, and Baker was my MVP.
Yeah. Because
Baker, realistically, he hasn't had a whole plethora of weapons, and he was just killing it. I was looking back, it was like 25, 30, 25, 24, 23, give or take something there. And the last 2 weeks, like 13, 7, whatever. They were not great. So sort of lowers him to a bit, but maybe he bounces back. We'll see what happens. He's in a murderer's row of games right now. Just dealing with that. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure this week he won't score any points. So, or is it next week? I think is he on bye this week? He's on bye.
Yeah, they're not going to score any points.
He only got 4. It was like 4 this week. So.
He's getting 4 more. He did get 11 more than Tua last week in one of my leagues, who got -7 for me. So that's 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
But so I took what Susan had, and I was like, yeah, because I preseason, I still make sure to tell JJ Wang, I had the Colts making the playoffs and winning the South. That was one of my bold predictions on our bold predictions show.
Nice.
Was the Colts, and I didn't see this coming. This is crazy talk. Like I thought they'd be like 9-7, 8-9, or something like, or 9-8, whatever it is. But dude, they're killing it. We'll see how they pan out. So I'm gonna go sort of along that kind of line. But Drake May was a guy that he came into the league, and I was like, that was close to my evaluation of him and thoughts of him, because North Carolina quarterbacks, Mr. Trubisky already snake bit us all. So it's kind of like Cal quarterbacks for the longest time. And then we had Aaron Rodgers change the world. Drake May is awesome. I am a Drake May fan now. I need to trade for Drake May somewhere. So if you're in my dynasty leagues, I'll probably give you the range for him right now. But the dude doesn't have any passing game. He's got some 200 passing games, but everything is in the 200s. Nothing lower than that. No cruddy weeks, really. He's only had 3 interceptions, and he's running but not having to run a whole ton. And, the Patriots are leading the AFC East, which makes me want to puke as a Dolphins fan because I'm tired of it. It's their turn to be bad for a while. But he's leading a team, and it's very Tom Brady-ish because, really, the receiving core is terrible. Boutte, who came in, everybody's like, this guy's garbage. Yeah. He's making him look good some weeks. The team as a whole, Diggs didn't do what he was supposed to do. Everybody but Drake May is underperforming. Henderson's supposed to be the next great thing, but he's carrying this team to 6. And see the bases. I know, right? Some places. They're all terrible. You don't play anybody but him and maybe Hunter Henry because of the tight end landscape. So Drake May for me is the other name that's going to get it. You're going to point to who's really going to win it in a second. I went NFL, but I'm using fantasy through the lens of fantasy. And the running back for me is, I think Bijan was still cream to the top. Cream rises. So Bijan is just so amazing. And if you play the Dolphins, you're not going to do well. You're going to be stopped. You're not going to go anywhere. That's what happened to every running. Oh no. That's what only happened to Bijan this year. So,
wait a minute, where do you go with that?
Because, the only reason Bijan was bad this week is you wake up Sunday morning and the only healthy guy on the team is Bijan and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts had an okay week. Bijan had a terrible week. But they only ran 9 times, 25 yards, 3 receptions for 23, and he just ruined every team I had him on. So that crushed 2 of my teams. But otherwise, though, the rest of the year, dude he's my favorite player to watch right now, other than, Bo Nix, of course. But I can't make Bo Nix MVP yet. Next year. But he's just so talented. And the rest of the year, once they get past the next 2 weeks, New England, Indy, he'll do okay against them. New England, I think Indy's defense is underrated. That's part of the reason they're good. But then he closes out with Carolina, the Saints, the Jets, Seahawks, who are up a little bit, Tampa Bay, who knows what they'll be doing by then if they'll just be chasing around, Arizona, Rams, and the Saints. So they're nothing. There's good defenses in there, but it's Bijan. And I mean, his slower game last week, he did great against Buffalo a few weeks ago. He's against Tampa last time. He had 100 yards receiving and a touchdown, not a lot of rushing, but he's when you can catch the ball, he's CMC like. Because I mean, CMC is the second running back right now, but that's partially because Bijan's already had a bye week. Yeah. So we'll see how things balance out after all.
Well,
that.
And CMC didn't have a great week either.
Oh no! What an amazing week to have both of those guys, and for those people who had both of them, yeah, I'm sure you tank that game too.
During BYEpocalypse,
you know, Adam, I'm a little surprised you didn't try to put Bo Nix on your MVP for a mid-season point fantasy because.
But his good weeks have been like the last three.
But if you look at the mark of any MVP, it's going to have those marquee games that stick out in your mind, like like a week and a half ago, where they came back from in dramatic fashion to score 30 plus in the final quarter. It's like you have those standout games to keep that on fresh in your mind. But I also end up taking one of each of you guys because I think Jonathan Taylor, it's hard to match the season he's had thus far. Because every time you turn around, how many touchdowns did he score this week? You know, it's that kind of conversation. It's like, oh, geez, I don't want to have to play against him. I really don't. Seriously, I don't. Because, you know, that's not a wonder why the best team in the league in one of my leagues has got him and CMC. It's like, what a combination that is. So I do not relish playing them, and I got to play them this coming week. Not good, but and I also agree with Drake May as a midseason candidate for MVP because he's playing with a lot of nothing on the team, but he's getting the job done, and he's got such composure. All he needs to do is put together a couple signature wins in those moments to get his name up in the limelight. He is gaining a lot of ground and popularity at this point in time. So I think if they continue to try to support him with offensive weapons, and if that defense can grow and be more of a factor, and I would actually say, look at the Colts' defense. It's also a reason why I think the Colts have been doing so well this year. So I think you have to have the right blend between the right personnel around you and the right defenses to give you opportunities to score more or do more. So, yeah. You know, Adam, you and I were talking about this right before the show about Mahomes. We did not put Mahomes on this list because, frankly, in my book, at this point, for the halfway point in the season, hasn't done enough because they started off really, really bad, and I do hang a lot of that on Mahomes' shoulders there. But they have turned around. This is what I was afraid of. If you're not a Kansas City fan, like I said a few weeks back, once those wheels start churning, everybody on that team eats. And so, you know, do we go down the path of Mahomes might be the season MVP when everything's all said and done this year?
He will be the season MVP. I will guarantee it. NFL MVP, fantasy, it's depends on
fantasy's going to be fantasy
NFL MVP
points.
Will be Patrick Mahomes because he's come around. Even those weeks that he was bad, he had better stats than Drake May, who I mentioned. Patrick Mahomes is the lower hanging fruit, so I do think he's NFL MVP. If I had to, but that was just low hanging fruit, so that's why I sort of left him there.
So Susan, weigh on the Mahomes topic here.
I mean, having Rice back is going to open up the long field game for them. I think that's been the problem, right? I mean, they won a Super Bowl doing it with the dump off passes. I think the depth of target for Mahomes last season was way low, right? Because Rice was injured, and now that Rice is back, I think that's going to open up the long bomb play. It was nice to see even now Worthy. He got 7 targets in the game last night. So hopefully they can get their pass catchers going, and that will help Mahomes in that race. I mean, everybody just has like Chiefs fatigue, right?
They do. It's like the Yankees with baseball.
It does feel a little inevitable.
So here's the thing I will toss out to you guys as just a thought here. Look at the conference they're in, or look, toss out the Raiders, okay? Because that's going to be a doormat for everybody, really. you've got Denver and you got the Chargers, and they're not pushovers. I think those guys can give the Chiefs a run for the money. Would it surprise me if all three of those teams made it to the playoffs? Would not be surprised. Not with some of the other divisions, when they may just be able to only get their division winner into the playoffs. But yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see how that specific division plays itself out, because arguably you could say it's one of the better divisions of the league, with Denver, Kansas City, and Los Angeles Chargers. So, oh boy. Well, fortunately, we're only halfway through the season. There's still a lot more football to come up. So we were talking about MVPs, and a lot of times the MVPs do come from a team that have done well that year. But let's go around the table and talk about who we think are the surprise teams, either good or bad, thus far in the season. So, Adam, give us your thoughts.
I mean, initially, it's the Colts. Like, I was very excited. Like, I get to hang my hat on that, going, "Hey, the Colts were good." I was surprised, but a good team that I didn't think they were going to be terrible, but they're leading their division, and that was the Seattle Seahawks, because we didn't know if Sam Darnold experiment was a Vikings thing. Like, I thought JSN, I had JSN ranked high. I'm a JSN guy. Didn't know what the running game is nothing spectacular. Charbonnet's been stepping up. What is it, K9 now? KW3 makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But Kenneth Walker, he'll be a name we'll forget in 2 years. I heard a guy say it on a podcast in August. And I'm like, yep, that sounds about right. But they're just playing good all-around ball. A.J. Barner has made the Arroyo rookie look like he's going to be a nada. Like Barner, and I heard some rumblings of that, and A.J. Barner has become so between Barner and then between JSN and the rookie Horton, who we've talked about, who sneaks in every now and then. Like, he's not an all-star yet. He's not Tyler Lockett yet, but he can take that role. That team has surprised me, because the Rams are my Super Bowl pick. They're tied with the Rams for first. The 49ers, that team is total garbage, and somehow they're 5-3. Like, they are held together by baling twine and duct tape. I think it's the old saying from the country.
That is true.
They're still winning, so they're just so well coached. But that was a team that I'm surprised on. And to be honest, the bad team is the Ravens. Like, the Ravens, nothing really has changed even before Lamar's injury. Yeah. They were terrible, and then they got worse. So now Lamar is going to come back. I mean, they're like, hey, we know we might not have won last week, but they beat the Bears because the Bears are bad. Now they're playing the Dolphins. Congratulations. On Thursday night, Lamar is now healthy. That's why they didn't play him, because they're like, hey, easy win. If we lose to the Bears, okay, we'll be 1-5. But now, hey, we're 2-5. Now we're going to be 3-5. We'll see what goes on. But I was really surprised they were bad. And then as with the Colts, I was gonna but yeah, so that was a surprise for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Susan, interesting thoughts for you.
Oh, I hit yours.
Well, so that's okay. Adam, I picked the 49ers because they're both. They are bad, but they are winning, right? So they are the equivalent of my dynasty roster. That's the lowest in points, but somehow is in 6th place with 4-4 wins. Brock Purdy's only played 2 games. Mac Jones has been okay, but he looked bad this week. Like, he did not look good. And now he's questionable. So I don't know what they're going to do. Brandon Ayuk is not being designated to come back. Like, his window is opening, but they're not going to designate him to return. Pearsall has been out. It's just been like, just like Kyle Shanahan is like literally just like pulling this team through. Like, I don't know how they're getting these wins. It does not make any sense. And the fact that Houston beat them, it was like, everybody, because Houston has not looked good. No. And it was like, oh, okay, well, maybe the 49ers are going to get that win. But Houston took them to the mat this week. And so they're my team, because they, like Adam said, they're being held together with what feels like duct tape, like the off-brand. And but they're pulling the wins in,
The Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Enter Adrian Martinez, 3rd-string quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, jeez.
Known for his famed Jets time.
Yeah. Like, who hasn't gone through the
Boy.
Jets at this point, right?
So that means he's going to be really good, by the way. He's going to be amazing. He's taking over the job because he played for the Jets
I
and
don't
now he's
know.
playing for Shanahan. This dude, just skip the whole waiver wire show. Get Adrian Martinez. That's
Well,
tongue in cheek if you just jumped on, guys.
I
But,
would have to
hey,
say, though, if
pick
you
him.
got Shanahan's attention, you must be doing something right, or they're desperate, one of the two, because he has been known to pull off masterful deals with personnel. And it's like, why did you get that person? All of a sudden, they light it up. So you just never know.
Except Trey Lance. Except Trey Lance.
Except Trey Lance. Oh,
He must
don't
be the
go
worst
there.
quarterback ever.
Don't go there.
Poor kid.
Yeah. My good list, I thought the Patriots were a really nice surprise, especially in that division. Like you mentioned, first place. It's like, and you can't really, if somebody didn't say they were in first place, you're like, yeah, they can't be in first place. But yeah, they are. You would expect the Bills automatically to be in that driver's seat, and they're not.
More points for as well. They have 6 more points
Yeah.
than the Bills. Same points against as the Bills.
Yeah, and if it weren't the Ravens being the bad egg here, it definitely would have to be the Jets. The team lost going nowhere. Although last week was, I don't know where that came from against Cincy, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up being on the chopping block for trades or getting cut as either players or head coaches. And speaking of which, we are just right around the corner from the NFL trade. So you do hear a lot of people from some of those bad teams like the Dolphins in Houston and the Jets and others like that might end up giving up some of their players to get draft picks for future years. So it'll be interesting to see where that plays itself out in the next week or so. But all right, great discussion, but we do need to take a few moments and give props to our sponsors. So Susan, take it away.
All right, let's take a quick time out to shout out our partners at Alpha Clash, the indie comic book trading card game that turns every match into a lore-driven battle for glory. In the Alpha Clash universe, superpowered contenders collide in a fast-paced game that perfectly blends fun and competition. Build your deck, unleash your devastating abilities, and outmaneuver your opponent in a game that's as much about brains as it is about bold moves. The artwork will pull you in, the gameplay will keep you coming back, and the growing global community awaits. Head to alphaclashtcg.com and start your journey today. That's alphaclashtcg.com. It's time to enter the clash. Alpha Clash has also generously donated booster picks, which you can win at home.
I just love watching Adam's animations through the whole thing. So half the time that's why I have you read it, because I just like watching him.
You got to go back and watch the season. Everything was
awesome.
Okay.
You know my job.
Okay, I will.
We have a lot of fun on the show, guys, as you can probably tell, but we also encourage your participation as well. So feel free to chime in on any of the streaming platforms that we're on with any topics we're talking about. Don't be shy. You can agree with us. You can disagree with us. It's all good here. Maybe you've got a question about a trade or a start or situation, or maybe you need our take on a player or a team. So any questions, fair game. We'll try to air as much as we can here, but if you don't get aired, if you don't post, you can't get aired. It's like Michael Jordan. You can't make shots you don't take. So this week's show is entitled BYEpocalypse Fallout, because last week was BYEpocalypse and a lot of low fantasy scores this past weekend, especially for those, except for maybe those who got lucky, or maybe they were able to successfully navigate through the first major hurdle of midseason. But next week we got Cleveland and the Jets. Okay, maybe not as many fantasy stars there, but we've also got Philly and Tampa on bye weeks for week 9 as well. So that rest is always much needed for some of those teams, especially right now with the injuries that are starting to pile up. So we've been telling you for weeks to prepare for weeks 8 and 9. But I'm not sure anybody could have been prepared for the fallout we just experienced. Even the big name stars just really fell off the roadmap. So give us your biggest surprise and or disappointments from week 8's fallout.
So I'll go first. Mine was Bijan being held to only 48 yards by freaking Adams Dolphins. It doesn't make any sense. They were allowing the most rushing yards literally in the league. And then I don't know if it has to be, this is, again, not an actual NFL analyst, but my take is that it has to be because London was out. Mooney is a Jag, right? I mean, he's good for the team, but he's not Drake London, right? Jag, just a guy, for those who may not have heard
Okay.
that term.
Judge Advocate
Yeah,
General.
sorry. Just a guy. He's great for the team, but he's not Drake London, right? So all the Dolphins had to do was keep Bijan in check. And he was literally the only person they had to guard. And so that has to be why I feel like I should have prepared myself and tempered my expectations and been ready for that because of that. But it still was just like, oh, stabbed to the heart.
But
Because
Bijan should have been able to overcome all those things.
Ruin your.
He's such a prolific runner, and just to see him on TV on the game with that game is like effortless. And he'd rack up 6 or 7 yards at a shot. It's like what it felt like, you know.
Yeah.
But that was one of my biggest surprises I picked out too, is the Dolphins just absolutely blowing out the Falcons in Atlanta as well. It wasn't just any game at home or something. It was at Atlanta, so they were not even in friendly confines. That I could not figure out. And then the head coach for Miami, you know, when they always do those interviews, it's like, okay, I have no idea what you just said. And it sounds like the same thing you've been saying for the last, I don't know how many weeks, and it still hasn't made a difference until today. Okay. So with that, Adam, your biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise would be the Jets. The Jets, man. They I just totally, who did they play? This has been my kind of.
They played Cincy.
The Bengals.
Cincinnati, another terrible team. But the Jets coming back and playing good. But it was funny because the Jets game, in the morning when I got in, or when I got back into town, I could use the internet again. Like I would get messages, but I saw that Tyrod was out, and there was this gut feeling. And apparently, I was looking at my fantasy pros rankings. I didn't put him as high as other guys, but I had this feeling. It's like Justin Fields is going to ball, just because it doesn't make sense. Because Justin Fields has been terrible. I would rather have started Andy Dalton or what's his name? Anybody, just
Mariota,
or almost Kirk Cousins, who all of the guys who look terrible. But but I was like, there's something. I had this gut feeling, and dang on, it looks good. Like he laid one of the balls he laid into the end zone for that one touchdown, and he just looked like a competent quarterback. So that means next week he's going to get -6. But the Bengals are bad.
He needed that as a player, though. I'm glad that he got that. I think he needed that shot of boost, that shot of confidence.
Yeah, at this point in time, he did, because everybody is so down on him. I mean, Fields had a great game week 1 against Pittsburgh, and then it's like, where'd he go? And then so he lit it up against Cincy. I love the play when Breece Hall ran up to the right, almost like he was going to try to get into the end zone, and there's no way he was going to make it. And he just lobs over the top to your boy, Mason Taylor. And it's like, that was a phenomenal highlight reel catch. That was awesome. From our chat room, Sharon Ferguson, no points. Yeah, I had that on my list as well. On National Tight End Day, and Ferguson and the Cowboys got 1 target.
I know.
1. That's it. And it's like, you're getting blown out. You have to score points. You have to throw the ball. You gave him 1 target? Really? Prescott.
I wrote about him today, actually.
Tight end day. Every tight end's supposed to catch something that day, but no, not my boy. Yeah.
He's my buy low candidate this week for Fantasy Pros. I wrote about that because he's been great all year. People are going to be so mad. A guy gets a 0. If you think Johnston's a thing or you think Ferguson's a thing, grab him. Johnston, he might be back to old stone hands. But Ferguson's, he's on a very high-powered offense. If someone is mad, get him. Because he's been tight end 5 or better. I was looking there. So he's been a tight end 1 all year except for the first week. Tight end 5 or better all the other weeks that he was a tight end 1 except for 1. He was tight end 11 or something like that. So he's top 5 tight end all year round. So
and every receiver is gonna have their weeks, right? Even the greats. They're gonna have their valleys. It's gonna happen. Take advantage of it. If somebody is mad, go get them.
And this is related to that because McLaurin and Debo were both healthy for that game last night against the Chiefs for Washington. Tamara posted there, had to pick up Mariota because thought Fields was going to be out, and it worked out pretty well. I actually did expect a little bit more out of Mariota. He did well when he was filling in for from Daniels before. He just looked a little tentative to me. But again, fantasy points are fantasy points. If you're going to get your points, you're going to get them, and that's great. All right, let's move along. We have a lot to talk about in terms of the waiver wire stuff. So I think we should just get straight to that and talk about it. So again, how do we navigate our teams from here? Are your teams like decimated beyond repair? Then maybe a trade would be in order for you, especially if you're in a dynasty league. If you're looking for future years and not just this year, maybe a trade might be in order for you. But maybe you get some of your players back this week. We had 6 teams on bye, so I know that's the case for me. I'm welcoming back those people. I miss them dearly, but otherwise, you may need to stick with what's tried and true, and that is the good old waiver wire.
But let's paint the right setting for the audience. Week 8, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Using that for a good New York there for Cam Scattaboo.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Week 9, that was gross, man. Oh,
man.
Week 9.
I just saw a picture and I was like, oh God.
Wasn't that what Tyreek? Yeah. Week 9, 4 teams on bye: Cleveland, New York Jets, Philly, and Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Potential trades are occurring in the NFL. So good things could be happening for your teams, or bad things could be happening for your teams. And of course, new key injuries are going to pop up. Who knows? Some guy's going to walk sideways and run into a wall somewhere, or twist his knee getting lunch. Sounds a bit scary heading into Halloween at the end of the week.
Yeah, insert scary music now.
So potentially out or already out for this week 9. JJ McCarthy, I think his ankle will have suddenly healed.
I think so too.
Because Carson Wentz just had season-ending. He's going to have season-ending surgery. So I think McCarthy will probably play, but he's still questionable. Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Joe Flacco, which sad for Chase Brown, or the sad for the Chases. Wide receivers: Puka, Collins, Evans, Godwin, BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. McLaurin got injured this game. Hopefully, we'll see if that was a re-aggravation. Garrett Wilson, running back, Bucky Irving's still out. Pacheco is new to this list. Haskins and Pacheco, it said week to week in what I saw.
That's scary.
And then Carter from Arizona was like released, but supposedly going to be re-signed. There's like weirdness with the practice squad, so just keep an eye out for that. And then Bowers is still out.
Yeah, so with that, again, for everybody at home, not time to panic. I think it is time to react, though. And as always, your situation at home is going to likely dictate who or if you should even pick up some of the players that we might be discussing here. And they may or may not even be available in your league. So just like in past weeks, we're not going to give you a whole laundry list of players, but just the key pickups that we might be focusing on this week. So, Adam, let's start with you. Who's a hot waiver wire pickup that you're looking at?
No, I'm going to go with Tajay Spears, running back for the Titans. So he was out for the first part of the year with the injury, and then he's come back in slowly. But last week he did have 59 yards for a touchdown, and I think Pollard's not been anything incredible, and they are always behind. So as he's getting healthier, there's going to end up having to be. He had 3 receptions as well. So he's going to get more receptions over the week, because when you're playing catch up and you're a terrible team, and they're going to throw to or get the ball to whoever is producing. And I think when healthy coming into the season, that's why I had him on a couple like dynasty leagues sitting around. I was going to grab him because I think he could be the kind of guy. He's more of he can help to move the offense forward, and he's available on the waiver wires. Trifling right now anyway, so grab some guy who scored some points and maybe he'll help you through bye weeks. Plus, as I like to say, he's a living, breathing running back. Grab him.
Well, it's a bad team for sure, but they've been actually starting to split more time between Pollard and Spears, and that's a good sign for Spears if you've been following him over the last couple seasons. So I like your pick. Susan, who do you have for us?
Okay, so I'm also going to go with a living, breathing running back who is everybody's like, yeah, uh, he's been a spoiler, right? Well, Pacheco is now hurt, and he was getting the valuable touches when they were in a three-way split this week when all three of them were there. So I'm going with Kareem Hunt of the Chiefs. He was getting the goal line work. He got 2 touchdowns. He's just going to pick up, I think, where Pacheco left off and is just going to become their RB1. Smith has had some good moments, but I think he's definitely still developing. So I'm going to go with pick up Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs because like I said, Pacheco is listed as week to week. So this is not a season long pickup the way none of us, this is like somebody else is going to talk about later, but this is going to be at least 1 or 2 weeks to get you through this week and whatever bye weeks maybe left for the next couple.
Yeah, I like that as well. We talked last week on the show about Kareem Hunt and Brashard Smith as being people you might want to keep on your radar. A little surprised Kareem Hunt was still out there in many, many leagues at this point in time, but now hopefully that train hasn't
40%
left.
rostered.
Yeah. A
On
little
Sleeper.
surprised.
That's
A
it.
little surprised because he's been putting up some points in clutch situations. And again, when the Chiefs are on the roll, everybody eats. So for my pick, and may I first say that you're welcome if you listened to me last week and picked up Franklin from Denver. He had 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. You're welcome. I had him on my team. I played him. I won with him. So again, but I'm going to go with somebody that was tossed out last week on this show, and it's Rondé Gadsden from the Chargers. I really didn't need a tight end. I wasn't looking for one. And then I started doing a little bit of deep digging on him. And he's caught 27 passes this year, 385 yards and 2 touchdowns. And most of that has all come within the last 3 weeks. He's got 19 targets over that stretch. The last 3 weeks. That's impressive for a tight end to get that much attention. So I think for a short-term play, I think Rondé would be a great fit for your team. Especially get through the bye week situations. Don't be afraid to pick him up there if you're in need of a tight end. The schedule does get a little tougher in the next few weeks after this, we'll call it 9, 10, 11 weeks. And so just keep a watch on what you can actually leverage him for, but maybe your other players will be back by that point. And then Adam.
And he is, sorry.
No,
I was just gonna say, he is pretty highly rostered, but go look, just double check that he's there. Even if you're in a smaller league, a 10-team league, even an 8-team league, he's more likely there. And I think you're going to get value out of him that you're not going to be getting over other players. So just double check.
That's a great point you're raising. Yeah, he is rostered probably in the 70s right now, percent-wise, but that's where I found him. I went straight to one of my leagues, and it's like, wow, he's there. Okay. So he could be there, guys. Just check it out. Adam, toss to somebody else you think might
my
be
guy's also, I didn't realize he's rostered in the 70s as well, but he's a forgotten guy. So you might be in that league where he was sitting there. And that's Christian Watson, who's coming off the injury from last year. He just played for the first time now in week 8. It was ACL last year, about November, I believe, off the top of my head. Some of it was towards the end of the year. Maybe it was the last game. It was towards the end of the year, rather. But came back, caught everything, 4 for 4, 85 yards. So he's getting some looks. They do spread the ball around, so you're not looking at Christian Watson to be your wide receiver 1, but he could be a good flex play as you're going down through some of these last couple of bye weeks. Maybe this is when he turns the corner, though, because he came into the league as some guy was like, "Ooh, this he's the first, high pick." Everybody's intrigued, and then he pretty much has not done a whole lot at all, really. He's had a couple pop games, but maybe this is when he turns that corner. He's 26 now, 27 is like the peak year for wide receivers. So maybe he gets into it, learns how to be more than a deep threat as you're going forward. So he's worth a roster spot if he's there, but he's rostered a lot. He's not started a lot, but he's rostered a lot. I started him last week because I had to. So I got rewarded with,
Adam, were you using Sleeper for that roster percentage?
Sleeper's at 76, and I thought that was high. What do you see?
You were probably looking in your dynasty leagues. Because Sleeper will tell you the percentage versus dynasty versus redraft. In redraft, he's only 16%. So if you're doing redraft leagues, he should be there. So This is a new feature for Sleeper for the season, I think, where it differentiates Dynasty, Keeper, and Redraft leagues. So I just want to toss that out there, that because in Redraft, he is widely available. So
Well, that's a great point you're raising. Dynasty leagues, I know people from last season still held on to him because he's going to come back sometime, and there's talent there. So you're right. In Dynasty leagues, you're more likely to see people who held on to him for this rainy day to happen. For him to be actually on the field again, where Love actually does trust him. Now the question is going to be volume. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how far the Packers go this season with their team. Now they're starting to get some healthy receivers. So, Susan, talk to us. I think you've got a receiver, don't you?
I do. I am going to go with Chimere DK. If you're looking for a long time, this confused me because it's not spelled that way. It's spelled DIKE, and people were talking about DK, and I was like,
DK Metcalf? No,
like I always is like he always is referred to by his first name only. So, but no, this is Chimere DK of the Titans. He was playing in the 40. He's a rookie. 23. He was playing in the 40% snaps. Callahan got the boot, and now he on week 6 and 7 he was up at 56, 57%. This week he was playing 89% of snaps. He had 8 targets and 7 receptions. Calvin Ridley is like injured and out, and a possible trade candidate for this team. So keep an eye on that. He's also he's been getting just as many, or if not more, targets than Io Manor has. So Cam Ward likes him. Cam Ward is looking better since Callahan left. Maybe the change in system is helping Cam Ward out. But so Chimere DK of the Titans, and he is only, let me just double check, 20% rostered.
I like that take on it because I was interested to see who Cam Ward was going to connect with on that team because he's got a good arm. And in the preseason, it was, it's all Ridley. It's all Ridley, And then you get to the season, it's not Ridley. It's not at all Ridley, And it's like, it's got to be Io Manor. It's got to be the new kid on the block. And you just have not seen the numbers be put up yet. So I think you're onto something here.
And this guy was actually drafted higher than Io Manor was,
which is interesting that they would have given Io Manor more opportunity early. So interesting there.
I get kick return and punt yards in one of my leagues for him, so that's kind of nice too.
Cool.
I heard a stat. I heard a stat today that he has the highest all-around yards in the league because of his kick returns and punt returns.
That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, especially because I'm not sure. Well, I guess you are going to get a lot of returns because if you're getting scored against a lot, then the other team has to kick the ball off, right? So
maybe I'm looking at it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 games with triple-digit kick return yard numbers.
Nice.
So, wow. Yeah, he won't be doing that for too long as he keeps putting up those offensive stats, though.
Yeah.
They'll pull him out probably.
Yeah.
All right. The other name that I will throw out here is Tyrone Tracy, almost the victim of opportunity here. He's the running back from the Giants. Scatterboo's gone for the season. So Tyrone Tracy is going to get some touches. So that's what you're looking for if you're looking for the stopgap during these bye weeks or until you get your other players healthy. The next couple of weeks look like they're going to be some good matchups for you if you're going to take up Tyrone Tracy. And again, it really comes down to what do you need a player for? Are you looking for a whole season player, like something to get you to the end of the year into the playoffs? It's probably not going to be your guy. This is probably going to be more of a stopgap for you. But again, with Scatterboo gone, you just don't know where that team's going to go because we haven't gotten it right all season either. So, and then we saw a relevant. He could.
Like,
he did last year.
It's Devin Singletary or Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah.
With Jackson Dart killing it.
It could happen. It could happen. So right now,
Bam
again,
Knight is the
Tyrone
thing.
Tracy's
Remember this.
going to get the touches. Go with somebody who you know is going to get
Yeah.
some points, as opposed to somebody who's playing second fiddle at this moment. And then a related question from the chat room: K9 or Tracy off the waiver wire needs a running back. This is an interesting dilemma. You've got a shared backfield up in Seattle with Walker and Charbonnet, and then you've got Tyrone Tracy, who could conceivably take it all himself. But again, it's the Giants. What are your thoughts about Sharon's question here? Anybody?
So my take is that it's the guaranteed workload. Devin Singletary is there, but he's not going to be getting the bulk of the work by any means. So if you need somebody who is going to be an RB2 to start week in and week out and get you 10 points, 11 points, maybe 9 or 8, but not goose you, then it's floor versus ceiling, I think, for me. So Tracy, I feel like, is going to have a higher floor than Walker. Walker has a higher ceiling. I mean, he scored a lot of points 2 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. I think that's, if I need a floor play, I'm taking Tracy. If I want ceiling, I'm going to take Walker.
Adam, thoughts? I thought you were going to. I was hoping you were going to skip me. I'm looking. Like, it just feels like you got to pick Tracy. That's almost how I was like. You pick up Tracy, right? I mean, he did get his carries had been down for 2 weeks, but last week he got 17, or 2 weeks ago when they last played, he got 17 carries.
Yeah.
And then another week he got 19 carries. But yeah, I mean, unless something weird, because we were one section that what if the Giants trade for Breece Hall? Or,
that's an interesting dilemma, because any trade
Breece
could
Hall
disrupt what your plans are, even with your existing team that you thought you were well protected, whether it's a receiver or running back situation.
So that's I mean, the Giants could be in the market because they're not winning, but they could be in the market for someone that they could get, and he's a UFA in the offseason, so maybe they take him. They're going to sign him because they got a young quarterback. Good, that's going to build up, put him and Scatterboo in the backfield. Oh, nasty!
It would be timely. It would be timely to pick up somebody.
Would be crazy,
especially the situation.
Yeah, I just feel dirty saying Tracy. So I think it's that close that Sharon, you need to buy a little Jimmy, and then you can make your own decision.
I like that, and that's a great segue.
Oh, go.
Yeah, never mind. I was going to say, I want to just throw out one honorable mention receiver name for Slayton on the Giants. They have Wandale. Scatterboo was getting so many targets, and I don't think Tracy is going to pick up those targets necessarily. He can catch passes, but not at the level that Scatman was. So I just keep your eye out for Darius Slayton. He's back from injury. He's going to be the 1 to 2 for Wandale. So
yeah, and Sharon after Jimmy. So Sharon,
I busted.
No. Sharon says she has.
I busted the transition. Jimmy, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
There you go.
All good. And that kind of busted the little Jimmy streak as well. The streak had to end at some point in time. So little Jimmy was wrong last week.
Yeah.
The coin flip said to sit Derrick Henry, and he put up 71 yards, 2 touchdowns against Chicago. But after the last several weeks, I'll take those numbers. I will, because I've got a stake of Derrick Henry on my team. So on our weekly show, we have a segment called Start and Sit. We have our little token, little Jimmy coin that we flip, and then props, of course, Tank Talk podcast for the inspiration for the idea. We've got a new player for little Jimmy to flip with today. So every week you might have a couple of players you just can't seem to decide on. To save you the pressure, the agony, we encourage you to use our Start and Sit coins featuring our character called Little Jimmy. Flip him. Whatever he lands on, do that with the player. And if it all goes well, congratulations. If it doesn't go well, it's not your fault. Little Jimmy did it. It's his fault. But the worst thing you could do is not flip Little Jimmy at all. But if you've been watching our shows, Little Jimmy was right 6 weeks in a row. Finally came to a crashing end. But again, and that's still not bad for little Jimmy. What does little Jimmy know? Really? He's just flipping a coin. So, but you can get your own little Jimmy start and sit coin at fantasyturf4.com or message any of us on the social media and we'll get it over to you. It's only $5 plus shipping and it goes directly to supporting the team. So, yeah, that streak ended. He said, sit Derrick Henry. I think, Susan, you and I both said you almost had to play Henry because you probably don't have any other alternatives. So this week you may not have an option either, but we're going to go with JJ McCarthy, the quarterback from Minnesota for the season. Don't let it shock you. Only 301 yards passing, 50 yards rushing, 3 total touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but he hasn't been active since week 2. He should be back this week. They're playing at Detroit. And if you're using standard scoring, 14.86 points is what you're looking at. So not great numbers. I don't know. I'm not sure what little Jimmy is going to tell us to do, but this would be the right situation to call it. Do you play him or do you sit him? Flip it at him.
Sit him.
Sit JJ McCarthy. So you might like his offensive weapons, but little Jimmy says, oh no, don't do it. What do you think, Susan?
I agree with little Jimmy. I am not willing to test this first week because he is still injured. They're going to play him because they need him. I don't know that they would be running him back so soon. I don't know that he would be playing this week if Wentz didn't go down. Also, man, Vikings did Wentz dirty. That man should not have been playing football as long. So I am in agreement. I would rather be playing. I know that there's 4 teams on bye, but
hopefully
give me somebody else over. Give me somebody else over the question mark this week.
Adam, your take?
Yeah, I was looking at the stat line before the show, and I thought that was what they thought his stat line would be for one game, not what his season stats were. I was
right,
like, whoa.
Right.
Jimmy says to say, it's Detroit's defense. Pass defense is not as good.
Aiden Hutchinson.
It's in the middle. Aiden Hutchinson's going to kill him. But then again, is JJ McCarthy really still that hurt, or was Wentz playing that good? Because JJ McCarthy looked like a dumpster fire for the first 2 years. We thought he was going to come out like Drake May, and he came out more like, Trey Lance, and it was not good. It was a bad start, and all of us, I got him in Dynasty in one league, and I'm a little worried as to what's going to be there. So maybe they drug it out a little bit to let him see Carson Wentz, and maybe they were like, hey, maybe Carson Wentz does something, we can trade him at the trade deadline, or something, but the Sam Darnold kind of effect. But 14 points versus a Detroit Lions team they're a really, really good team, and Minnesota's not as good as they were last year as a whole unit. So I'm going to agree with little Jimmy and Susan here.
If you look at how Detroit's played, sometimes they're just absolutely on fire, and then all of a sudden they have some really bad games. That's embarrassing, guys, really? And they've had a couple like that. One of them was against Chicago, and Caleb Williams did light it up. So I think Detroit could be had. Minnesota certainly has the weapons to do it, at least from the receiver side of things, between the 2 primary receivers and the tight end. I think the big question mark is the running game right now at Minnesota. Can you get the ball running to alleviate some pressure off of McCarthy, to give him opportunities to kind of absorb the game a bit, find his rhythm, find the open receivers and things like that? If little Jimmy's right, I think it's going to be because the running game is not where it needs to be. I think Detroit can be passed on. And I'm hoping for JJ McCarthy's sake that he is who the Minnesota Vikings thought he would be. But we've seen too many games at this point in time where he's not been on the field than he has been. And I think that's where the jury is going to be still out. Like you said, Susan, the question mark, we just don't know yet. But if you're sitting at home and you're not sure what you've got, I'd say he does have a high ceiling, but I don't know what it's going to compare against what you might also have on your bench. So I think you're going to have to make the best choice possible for you people at home. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic that he's going to have a great game. But again, it's Detroit. You never know what you're going to get with Detroit. And I think right now you're just not sure what you're going to get with J.J. McCarthy either. So we'll see what little Jimmy, the prognosticator, gives us come the end of the weekend. Okay. Oh, Sharon, she got a Jimmy. Well done. Well done. So let's move on.
See, also Sharon's offered me, she has Drake May in the Fantasy Couriers charity league. So I was like, oh, because we do a charity league, we raise money for the American Cancer Association. So she jumped in on that, and I was like, my team's pretty good there. I guess who my quarterback is.
Awesome.
And those kind of things, I always try to make fun teams, like guys I don't have, because it's for charity. So if I win, cool. But the winner gets to be on our podcast, and all the money goes to charity. So it's just
that sounds like fun, anyways.
That's fun.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Our next segment. Usually it's audience rapid fire, but we've already covered, I think, all the business there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have stuff during the week,
can I make my announcement then? Oh,
Go for it.
sorry.
I was going to tell if they got stuff, ask you during the week. You're available.
Yeah. So y'all have heard me talk about the Gridiron Goddess Games, the tournament that is sponsored by my business and me, that is being run. And one of the bonus awards, which comes with a $25 gift card to get for my store, is the highest score in week 8 this ellipse.
Oh, nice.
So the league is full point PPR. And so as a reminder, my half point PPR team scored 55 points. Okay. The team that beat me had 155. They beat me by 100 points.
Wow.
This person scored 190.6 points this week.
Week 8? My gosh.
What's crazy is another person from the high score from a different division was 190.48. So we had 2 teams that had 190, but one person beat, and that person was, let me double check. I want to make sure that I'm saying their name right, is Tara Belfi. So she is in the Artemis division. So Tara, you are the bonus winner for the Gridiron Goddess Games for the Week 8 BYEpocalypse Award.
Well done.
Points, which is crazy.
I always joke that it's because my coach pep talk before the game started, but we know that doesn't happen in fantasy, of course, But well done, 180 points, and out of 2 teams, that's remarkable. That is awesome. That's completely awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you feel you got some value out of the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share the show with everybody you know. And as always, I had lots of fun tonight with my partners in crime. Susan, where can I find you?
All right, here's my handle: TikTok, Instagram, the Facebook group for women's fantasy football is really amazing. So come find me there. Shoot me messages, ask me questions. I'm always happy to help.
And you can find me where Fantasy Couriers podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. All the links for anything that I do is on fantasycouriers.com. Am I pointing the right way?
Yes.
Yep.
It's backwards on our screen, so it drives me nuts. Fantasycouriers.com has the links to everything and links to I've been backlogged. I've been so busy. I need to start clicking my articles I write in there that I contribute each week, and my weekly rankings are there. Plus a link to anywhere that our podcast is aired as well. So pop it on there, check us out. And it's kind of fun because I'm trying to get somebody to join our sponsors. Like we got those fun little sponsors that'll be like, hey, if you do something for us, we'll help you out. But it's kind of a fun. I was like, just make us look legit. We still don't look legit. So it's fun, but we have fun each week. And it's been more about our podcast is more about 2 friends just getting to shoot the breeze. And it's led to this. So, hey, I got to reconnect with my buddy and I get to have fun with you guys.
And that's what I think it's all about. Fantasy Football League, it's fun, but being a part of this group here and with the audience as well, it's also tons of fun. I am Cameron. I am supporting and sponsoring Shelter Dogs for Veterans. And as Corey closes out each week, he always says, be excellent to each other, be kind. Until next time, keep moving forward. See ya. Thanks for being here, guys.